Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wednesday Webinar Live. And I hope you've had a wonderful bank holiday and a great week. We're going to kick off today by listening to Zara Kayani, who's going to explain to us why she needed to change her mindset. So let's take it away with Zara.
Hello, my name is Zara Kayani. I would like to thank Suzanne for this opportunity of inviting me on this platform and giving a small brief talk. So my name is Zara Kayani. I'm a post-BPTC graduate student and I'm in search of pupillage. One thing I did not like about my studies or student life would be revision. I was very late when it came to revising. I would always revise a few days before, or even the night before. I was known as the person who would always fluke exams and just always find a way to pass, but I started to realise that I wasn't displaying or showcasing my own potential for myself. I wasn't allowing myself to succeed to my ability. And I decided to change this during the BPTC course, and also when I had to complete an exam, I realised that everyone else in effect will succeed or go on to complete their lives and do what they want to do, but you will always be left behind if you do not take that step to do something about it. Others who revise a few weeks before in advance, they obviously have their goal in mind. People like me who left it last minute showed that they didn't care, but in reality I actually did care. I just didn't have the mind frame to do something about it. So I changed my mindset. I realised that at the end of the day, this is for myself, it's for my goals. If I don't do the best, then I will not achieve my dreams and I will be left behind as the world moves on. So I changed that mind frame. I decided to adopt a completely positive mind and say to myself that I can do this, I do have the ability to succeed, rather than just scraping a pass. Let's see how well I can do if I put my mind to it. And eventually it did pay off, and I succeeded where I needed to succeed. An advice I'd give in one word is patience. Have patience in your life goals and in your dreams. Nothing comes easy. There will be a lot of bumps along the way, but hold on to patience. It is through glad tidings that you will receive good rewards. Have patience and beautiful things will await for you. Thank you very much.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much to Zara. I think it's really useful to hear from other students who have been through the process, who have come to a realization as they're doing their studies that there's something more that they need to do. And it's so important that you personally come to that realization, because if you simply go along with the way you've always studied, I've got over my O levels or GCSEs because I was naturally bright. I did my A levels, so walk in the park. I did my degree. Yeah, I didn't study that hard. Then you get to postgraduate study and you're in a highly competitive environment with lots of people who are not just trying to pass. They don't just want the qualification. They want the best grade at that qualification. And it's so easy sometimes for you to be thinking, well, I don't need to get an outstanding. I don't need to get a distinction. I just need to pass this assessment. Life, the universe, everything's getting in the way. I don't have to give 100%. And I once taught on a postgraduate course, and students were preparing for their dissertation. And I said to the students, who actually wants to get the top grade? And very few of them put their hands up. And one student actually said, well, I don't need to get the top grade. I just need to pass. And if you have that attitude, and therefore you're not preparing in advance, you're not studying as hard as you can, you're not allowing your natural talents to show themselves by making sure you've done the best preparation, revise beforehand, practice the assessment questions, know the assessment, then what you're going to produce, it may be good enough for a pass, but is it going to get you the top grade? And it was quite interesting that when Sarah was talking about things, she sort of said that a little bit of not wanting to shine and get do your absolute best is because maybe deep down inside she didn't think she was good enough. She didn't think she was, deserved to get the best grades. And there was an element of self-sabotage about what was going on. So really, it's important for you to sit down and really think, why am I not doing my best work? Why am I struggling to meet deadlines? Why haven't I done as much preparation as I possibly can for this assessment? And if you answer those questions honestly, and you can say to yourself, well, maybe part of me is, I'm worried that I'm not good enough and that I'm not going to, I don't want to do brilliantly because I'd actually think I might fail. And that self-fulfilling prophecy can then begin to kick in. You don't prepare, you don't deliver on time, you scrape through. And it was just amazing how Sarah decided that she had to take control of her own future career. No one else was going to do it for her. No tutor is going to lecture you, say that you decide you're going to put your best foot forward and do the most preparation. It has to be something that comes from you. And you have to be prepared and willing and put yourself on the line and say, yes, I want that dream. And yes, I am going to go for that dream. And that dream means that I'm going to do the best I can and get the best grade that I can. And it's so easy when we start off at the beginning of something to go, yeah, I want to get the best grade. But when we're like 6 months into the course, 9 months into the course, it's harder because there's so much work to do. There's scheduling, there's timetabling, there's lectures, there's life, the universe, everything that gets in the way. But it's about, Zara saying to herself, you know what? If I don't do this, if I don't give this a good go now, what is going to happen? Other people around me will succeed and get their dreams. And I personally will not be one of those persons succeeding because I didn't do my best. And, I think that's just such an important lesson for people who are doing and studying a very competitive course such as law to understand. If you do not do your best, there will be people around you who are doing their best. They will get the best grades. They will succeed in their career. And you, unless you're putting in as much work as them, you're not going to have the same results. It's like an athlete training. You want to be Olympic champion, you have to train hard. There's no shortcuts. Even if you've got natural talent and ability, you still have to put the work in. And all of those who are going to be in the final of that race at the Olympics, they've trained, they've worked, they've sacrificed, and they've stayed focused and true to the dream that they want, to be in that final race and going for that gold medal. And that's how you have to think about it as a student, especially when you get into your postgraduate studies. So Sarah's one word is patience. And this is sort of like, it's a strange word in many respects, patience. She's changed her mindset. She's decided that she has to work hard. She has to organize herself, get her work in on time, do that work to the best of her ability. But patience, why patience? Well, because it's like when you're training for the Olympics, when no one's watching and it's cold, it's wet, it's raining, and you've still got to train. You have to stay focused and patient in believing that you're going to be in the final of that Olympic race, even though it's a long way away and you can't see it. You're not there yet. You're not on the start line of that final race, but you have to be patient and focused on the determination to get to that Olympics, to get to that Olympic final. And as Sarah said, sometimes there are ups and downs. Life isn't just all about soaring upwards. It's sometimes about going up, down, getting back up again, going down again. But, just keep moving in that direction towards that final. We all, it doesn't matter who we are and how brilliant you think people are, there are always downs and ups in everybody's life, in everybody's career. And so, that patience, that quiet persistence, that quiet focus, the patience of the person who knows, I'm training, I'm working hard because I have a goal in mind, and that's what I want to achieve at the end. And that's, I think, what Sarah was so keen to have everybody talk about and think about. One word. What's the one word? Patience. Keep going, keep preparing, keep working, get ready for that exam. Patience, yeah? And then beyond that, get ready for the qualification, get ready for when you go into work, either as a barrister or as a solicitor. Patience, keep on the path and you will get there. I think that's a lovely, lovely description by Zara. And one of the things that she said was important. She decided to adapt her mindset and she decided to have a positive mindset. So clearly she wanted things to be different. If you want things to be different, you have to change your mindset. It has to be positive and you have to be patient, because nothing happens immediately. Nothing happened the next day when Zara changed her mindset. Nothing happened the next week or even the next month. But it's that dedication to doing your best, being prepared, getting things in on time, that eventually will pay off. And for Zara, passing her BPTC, and now that persistence again, looking for pupillage, and trying to make sure that you put yourself in the best position so that when you make your applications, you look interesting on those applications. When you go for interview, you do the best that you can. And it won't be easy, because we all know it's competitive and we know that things are difficult, but just staying patient and focusing on the dream and not giving up on it. So that's wonderful. Thank you so much to Zara for taking the time to record that audio message for us. And let's now see if we've got any comments from our guests. No, not at the moment. So let's go to the emails that we got. Okay. First email is from Peter. Peter says, "Hi, Suzanne. I have one problem. Whenever I set myself the goal of changing my mindset, it works for a week, and then I find myself slipping back into old habits." Peter, you're not the only person that has that problem. Lots of people have that problem. And I think one of the things is you have to, you set your intention. I'm going to change. I'm going to do things differently. What do you want to do differently? You define what you want to do differently and you commit to doing it, not just today, tomorrow, and next week, but for the rest of the course and maybe forever. And that doesn't mean that there might be one day where things don't quite go as you plan, but it's about your overall long-term commitment. And if you find yourself backsliding into the sort of behavior or mindset that you had in the past, it's time to sit down and have a chat with yourself and say, why am I sliding back? Is it possibly a little bit of self-sabotage, Peter? Is it because you don't think you're good enough? Is it because you think you might fail? Not a good enough reason to slip back into the old ways. In fact, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You've identified there's a problem. You know what the problem is. You've decided to change. You've committed. You know what you need to do to change, and you're committed to doing it. Rededicate yourself to changing. And as soon as you see yourself slipping out of the routine and the mindset, the new mindset that you've set yourself, it's time to have a chat with yourself. And even if you have to physically talk to yourself, I don't care. At the end of the day, you need to pull yourself out of the wrong mindset. And sometimes it is about having an internal conversation with yourself. Try and do it when other people aren't listening, because you might look slightly unhinged and unstable. But generally, have a conversation with yourself. Peter, why are you doing this? X, Y, Z. Sometimes just saying it out loud, putting it out there. Talk to a friend. Have a coffee, talk to a friend on Zoom or Skype or Teams, and just get it out there. And sometimes just someone listening and you verbalizing it really helps to sort of ground it in your mind that you are self-sabotaging and you need to get your mindset back to that scenario that you had decided you need to move to. So, Peter, I wish you well. We all promise ourselves that we're going to change our mindset. It doesn't mean that it's always perfect. It doesn't mean that sometimes we don't do what we say we're going to do and that we slip back a little bit. But every time you slip back, remind yourself and push forward with your new mindset. And soon you'll find that actually you're in that mindset and you don't even think about slipping back. So, Peter, I wish you luck and focus on your new mindset. Okay, we have a second email from Annie. Annie, hello, nice to hear from you. Annie says, I'm really focused. I think I have a very positive mindset. And then suddenly, as I get nearer towards an exam, everything seems to crumble. Okay, Annie, there's a difference between having a positive mindset and exam nerves. And just because you've got exam nerves doesn't mean that you don't have a positive mindset. I think, like everybody who has to have an exam or a test or something's being assessed about them, there is always an element of nervousness. And you always think, I haven't prepared enough, I might fail, terrible things will happen. And a bit like Peter, you've just got to go through a process in your pre-assessment preparation that helps you to calm down, breathe, think positive thoughts. Don't actually think about the assessment. The worst you can do before the assessment is focus on failing or anything about the assessment. Just have a good routine where you have, some food, you have something to drink, you get all your stuff ready, and you calm yourself down. Put your headphones on, listen to some nice music. Boxers are always listening to fantastic music on their headphones just before they get into that boxing ring and try and fight it out for a title. And that's the same sort of approach you need to your assessments. Calm, relax, whatever it is that gets you in that chilled out mood, bam, hit that assessment. And the least time you spend thinking about the assessment, the better it is for your mindset. So don't worry, you can still have a positive mindset. Doesn't mean you don't get nervous when you come to an assessment. Just try to develop some assessment practices that are calming and relaxing to you. That will be really good. Okay, our final email. Hey, it's from Jay. Jay says, hi, Suzanne. Lovely to hear from you. Is there anything that you can do to create a positive mindset? Jay, it is all about you and where you are as a person today and what you want to achieve. So it's not something I think that's a generic thing, a positive mindset. What's positive mindset for me is a different mindset for somebody else. So it's about you finding what is important and positive in your life at this time, at this moment, and achieves your goals. And I think the easiest way to do that sometimes where you're not sure about what you want to do or what you want to say is perhaps write it down. It's really sometimes as easy as that. Either speak it out or write it down, record it in a dictaphone, tell somebody what it is, write it down in a diary or a journal. Somehow getting it out of yourself, refining it, defining it is really important. Hi, we've got the lovely Zainab. How to prize things to meet multiple deadlines. If we have to compete multiple deadlines and all are important. Honestly, I know that is a problem for some people. But the important thing is that you sit down, and if you've got 5 things to do and you've only got time to do 2, it's better to do 2 well than to do 5 things badly, in my opinion. So sit down, work out the 2 most important things that you've got to do. Do those well, hand those in the deadline, and then the other 3, maybe you do those after the deadline, and you may not get a specific grade for them if it's a mock or something like that, but you do the exercise properly and you get feedback from your tutor. If it's an assessment where you can't push the deadline back, you've got to submit all of the 5 things, then what I say is do as much as you can and be realistic. If ultimately you have a finite amount of time and you have too many tasks to do, you have to accept that you're not now aiming for the top mark. You're aiming to pass and to pass as many of them as possible. So choose the subjects you're best at and try and make sure that you've done enough work to pass as many subjects as possible. But the key to this is not to be in that position where you've got too many priorities and not enough time. And it comes back to planning. So way, 3 or 4 months before these deadlines, you have to have been selecting the subjects you're going to revise and planning how you're going to deal with it so that you spread your time and you're able to cover all of those 5 subjects really well. That's the beauty of planning. Thank you, Zainab, for that question. Really helpful to students to see that. Okay, if you're about to do a dissertation this year, then check out my book, LMM Dissertation, How to Maximize Marks in Your Practice-Focused Dissertation. So again, it's about planning, organizing. Just get this book and read it before you actually do your dissertation. It's so important to know how big the task is, what you're going to have to do in writing a dissertation, the various stages, and what's important prior to actually starting and choosing your dissertation title. So get my book, LMM Dissertation. You can get it online at Amazon or buy it online at various bookstores. Gardner's comes to mind. Okay, thank you so much, everybody, for being here. It's been wonderful to talk to you. And I will see you next week. Well, we're actually going to have a live guest next week, Matt, and he's got a very interesting topic, but I'm going to leave him to tell you all about it. So have a wonderful week. I will see you in a week's time. Bye, everybody.